So today we are going to start with the next session of our lecture series, that is pillars of object oriented. Now in the object oriented concept, for the programming reason, what we are trying to say is that there are four features of object oriented programming which are forming the pillars of this programming. They are: first, the the data abstraction; second one, the inheritance; third, polymorphism; and fourth one is encapsulation. So in today's lecture we are going to talk about these two features, that is, first one the data abstraction and second one the inheritance. So basically I just wanted to tell you that, as the name suggests, data abstraction, what does it say? Abstraction is the hiding of data, because we are saying data abstraction. Here what we are doing, we are hiding the data. Now what is the concept of hiding the data? We are going to see out here in the next slide. That is, first of all we need to understand what is it. What we are doing is, whenever we are showing, whenever we are representing an essential feature without giving the background knowledge of that, that particular act is called as data abstraction. That is the definition for this abstraction. That is, it is the act of representing the essential feature without knowing the background detail. That is the main point. Without knowing the background detail means we are hiding this particular background detail. We are not showing this background detail. It hides the hides is very important. This is the main characteristic about this. That is, it hides the implementation details while just presenting the features of the to the outside world. Now when I talk about code, right, when I talk about implementation part, I'm going to say that the implementation detail is not being shown to the person who is using that. Only the feature is being shown to the outside world. If I take an example for this, yesterday I took an example for objects and classes, right? That was the ceiling fan. So the one which I am sitting in the room, and that particular ceiling fan I'm talking about, that is the object. Now whenever I am giving a method, that is, a function is there. What function is there? Switch on and switch off, right? So when I'm switching on the fan, I am not getting into the detail how the current is passing to the fan and how the fan starts revolving. So that particular part is hidden from here. It is not shown here. So what it is doing, it is hiding the detailing part. It is hiding the programming part when we talk about the programming, and it is only showing the feature, that is, there is a button or which I can switch on, the fan will be on. Whenever I switch off the button, the fan will be off, right? So in this point we are saying that why we are hiding this particular details, because we think that these details are unnecessary for the one who is working on the switches only. जो सिर्फ switch on off कर रहा है उसके लिए, for a common person it is not essential to know the detail and the complexity behind this working of this fan, working of this motor. If we take the example of any the platform we are using, computers. So in this concept we can say that database, we all know about database. In the database, what it is, only the designer, the architecture of the database, architect of the database knows how the data is being stored, created and maintained, right? So the details of the data, that how the data is being stored and created and maintained, is hidden, is hidden. And what we can do is, we can just write a query and we can have that particular only single detail of specific query I am asking for. But I'm not concerned how that particular data is being stored, in which table it is stored, in which row it is stored, how that particular table is related to the another table, how the relation is being defined out there. So these particular details are completely hidden from this implementation part. So that particular feature of programming is called as object oriented programming, is called as data abstraction. Now data abstraction kya kar raha hai? Basically, what is the advantage? Advantage is it is hiding the data. It is hiding the data, and it is hiding the data. Why it is hiding the data? It is reducing the complexity of the programming part, right? It is reducing the complexity. This is the main feature for this, that the complexity is being reduced out here. Now we take one more example, such as yesterday also I took a example of class, that is car, right? And I'm talking about, when I'm talking about this particular car, so this is an object. Now this particular car is a class, and where abstraction is being used, so what it is, the driver does not know, the driver does not know the detailing of the engine, how the engine is being started. When it is starting the, it is starting with the key, right? When the accelerator pedal is pressed, how the car is being accelerated, how the fuel is being generated, how the electricity is being generated, how the power is being generated. So this particular details are hidden from this. Let's take one more example. When we talk about programming example in Java, we have a syntax for printing, right? That is system.out.println, right? So this particular is used for printing. Now for printing, I am just using this syntax. I'm just using this particular command. I am not concerned whether what process it is following to give the print command. I just know that if I use this particular command, the print will be done. The print command will be taken out. But I am not concerned about the coding part of this detailing. So that particular detailing, how the process of printing is taking place, that particular is hidden from the programmer, let's say me, right? So this particular part is hidden. So that particular is called as, this process is called as data abstraction. That means the data is hidden from the programmer maybe, and this is done just to reduce the complexity of the programming so that it can be easily used, right? So this is called as abstraction. Now, abstraction is very helpful and very useful in the programming part. In object-oriented programming, this is a very good and important feature in the OOPS concept. Now, when I was talking about this command, so programmer is not concerned about this system.out.println command. The compiler is going to handle this command, right? It is going to give the print, right? So that particular is called as the data abstraction. I think we have enough of examples, and you must be able to understand this feature, that is the data abstraction. Now, I told you what is the basic advantage. The advantage is we need to reduce the complexity. This is the point with the help of which we have reduced the complexity of the program. So we are hiding the unnecessary, unessential parts which are not necessary to be shown. Only the feature is being shown, right? Now, moving further, we can take one more example for this, such as the submit button. In a form, if you are using the online forms, there is a submit button, just one click, submit, and the submit process take place. The form is being submitted. Now you are not concerned about what process it is following, what process. That particular data is hidden from you, right? From the one who is using the form. Just it is an interactive feature that if you click the submit button, the process will take place. What process will take place? The form will be submitted, and you will just see a message regarding that your form has been successfully submitted. So उसके पीछे जो implementation part है, that is being hidden. Now this is called as data abstraction. Well, moving to the next feature of this is inheritance. Inheritance is what? You must have heard of, a basic thing, that is this child has inherited the features or characteristics of his parents, of her parents. What is that? That means some features are being taken from the parent and the child is having those particular features. So child is deriving those features from the parents. So this mechanism where it is permitted that new class, just focus on this point, new classes to be created out of existing classes by extending and redefining its capabilities. That means what it is, if you have already have a class, out of that particular class you can derive a new class. Now when a class is derived from a class, what it is, it means that it is holding certain properties, certain features which are from the existing class. जो existing class है उसके कुछ features को वो क्या कर रही है, वो hold कर रही है, inherit कर रही है, and plus it has more features of its own. So that is why we are saying by extending and redefining its capabilities. That means it is having the properties of a class which is already existing, from which it has derived, and it has certain new properties which are of its own. And this is how this extension and redefinition of capabilities is taking place. So we can say that there are two classes. The one which is the existing class, from which a new class has been derived. So the existing class is called as, we have number of names for that: base class, parent class, and the super class. You can call any of the names for the existing class. So the class which is already existing can be named as the base class, parent class, and the super class. Now next feature, that is whichever new class has been derived or generated, that particular new class will have the name of derived class, because we are already saying that we have derived a new class from the existing class. So that particular class is called as derived class, and from which it has got, that is called as base class. Derived class, child class, and subclass. So this is a parent class and this is a child class. This is a base class or this is a derived class. This is a super class and this is a subclass. So how it is like features defined. The subclass can inherit or derive the attributes and methods of the superclass, provided that the superclass allows so. Now what it is saying that the superclass, and there is a subclass. The subclass should or can include certain features which are already there in the superclass. So that means we have two things in a class. We have two things. What are the two things? We have, one is attributes and the other one is methods. In a class we have two things, that is attributes and methods, that we have learned in earlier session. So these two things can be derived from the base class. That means the attributes of base class and derived class can be common, not all, but some of them can be common. Some of the methods can also be common, because this particular class has inherited the attributes and methods of the base class. Now, besides the subclass may add its own attributes and methods and modify any of the superclass methods. That means it is not necessary that these two classes will have all the attributes common. No, The subclass or the child class can have new properties, new attributes of its own, which can modify the superclass methods. So what is this? This is the feature. That means जैसे हमने एक एग्जांपल दिया था पेरेंट एंड चाइल्ड का, सो चाइल्ड के पास कुछ एट्रीब्यूट्स पेरेंट्स के उसने इनहेरिट किए हैं, उसकी कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स पेरेंट्स की हैं, कुछ फीचर्स पेरेंट्स के हैं और उसके कुछ फीचर्स अपने हैं. That is how this new class has been, new child has been created. Similarly, this is how the subclass or the child class has been created. Some features, some attributes are from the superclass, that is the parent class, and some are of its own. So this is what the subclass and superclass are. Now, what is this inheritance defines? It is a relation. How we can say this is a relation? Now see, we were talking about this. Now we can see an example, that is we have a class that is called as vehicle, right? Now car is also a vehicle and truck is also a vehicle. Main features, there are many features, attributes which are common of vehicle, which are inherited from the vehicle class, and the method is also from vehicle class. Same with the truck, but the car features, the car attributes and the truck attributes can be different, and it is different. So here what I can say that vehicle is the parent class. What it is the parent class. It is also called as the superclass. It is also called as the base class. So yani we can give three names to this: base class, parent class, and the superclass. So these are the defined names. Now what is this? This is the class which has been derived from, this arrow will be upwards. This you have to be very careful, that when I say the inheritance, that means the arrow will be this side, because truck is inheriting the properties of attributes of vehicle. The car is having or inheriting the properties of vehicle. The car is the class, subclass which is derived from the superclass vehicle. And now truck and car को अगर हम बोलते हैं तो it is considered to be as the child class or the subclass or the derived class, right? So these are what? These are the classes to find out here. This is called as is a relation. How it is giving as, how it is defined as is a relation? It is defined as is a relation in a way that when I say car, so I'll say car is a vehicle, right? Car is a vehicle. And similarly, truck is a vehicle. So that means every time inheritance is there, it defines and is a relationship. Now, why we are working with this inheritance? What is the advantage of this inheritance? The main feature or the advantage of this inheritance is, sorry, that is we have the facility of reusing the code. So the main feature is the reusability. What is this reusability? Now see, if I am defining the car class altogether again, I have to give all the attributes, all the methods again. But if I have the inheritance property, if I have the inheritance property, I am going to define this subclass with only new features and new methods. We are going to see when we are going to see the code, little bit of it, that सुपर क्लास में जितनी भी एट्रीब्यूट्स और मेथड्स डिफाइंड हैं वो हम सब क्लास में डिफाइन नहीं करेंगे. सब क्लास में हम उन्हीं फीचर्स को डिफाइन करेंगे जो कि न्यू होंगे, राइट? सेम इन द ट्रक. सो दिस इज व्हाट द facility which is provided by the inheritance, that is the reuse of code. You are not going to write the complete code again and again. You can use that particular code in future also. So that is what modularity is. And these features are what these are missing in where these are missing in procedural languages, which we were using earlier. So this is a very important feature. Reuse can reduce your efforts. Reuse can, reduce the complexity. Reuse can reduce the time taken for coding. So we are going to reduce the time and the effort with the help of inheritance. So that is the main advantage of inheritance. So moving further, there are 5 types of inheritance. Those are, first one as the single inheritance. Second one, we have the multiple inheritance. And third one, multi-level inheritance. Fourth, we have hierarchical inheritance, and then hybrid inheritance. Now we are going to see what are these inheritance. They are, first one, we have the single inheritance. Single inheritance means a subclass derives from a single superclass. We have a subclass which is derived from a single superclass. I think this theory will not help you much. We will see it from the pictorial graph that we have in forward in the PPT. So when I say single inheritance, it can be, let's say we have a class that is flower, right? We have a class that is flower. हमने एक class को consider किया super class, and now we can derive a subclass from that. And what is that subclass? Let it be rose. Let it be rose. So what is it? This is a single level. The arrow will be upwards, right? So it is what? This is showing the is a relationship. That means, what does it mean? Rose is a flower. Rose is a flower. So this is what? This is the inheritance. And when I say single inheritance, so that means this is the single inheritance where only a single superclass is present. Now we have multiple inheritance. When we say multiple inheritance defines that a subclass derives from more than one superclass, right? We have a subclass which can be derived from more than one superclasses. So how it can be defined? It can be defined, let's say we have a class that is birds. We have a class that is birds, and we have these two other subclasses, that is, let it be parrot and let it be sparrow, and the arrow will be upwards. Now this is what? This is multiple inheritance. That means parrot is a bird and sparrow is also a bird, right? So this is the one which is called a multiple inheritance. Now comes multi-level. Multi-level defines a subclass derives from a superclass, which in turn is derived from another class, and so on. So that is what multi-level is. Let's say we have, let it be world. We have world. Amongst world, we have India. In India, we have state. State is, let's say, Rajasthan. And in this, we have what? Let it be a city, that is Jaipur. So what is this? This is the multi-level. That means there are multiple levels, multiple level of inheritance. Jaipur is derived from Rajasthan. Rajasthan is derived from India. India is derived from world, and so on and so forth. So this is the called as the multi-level inheritance. Then we have fourth one, which is called as hierarchical inheritance. What is this hierarchical inheritance? Hierarchical inheritance is a class has a number of subclasses, each of which may have subsequent subclasses continuing for a number of levels so as to form a tree structure. Right? Now this hierarchical structure will be defined in this way. I'll show you these two because it will be very difficult to draw. Next one is hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance is a combination of multiple and multi-level inheritance so as to form a lattice structure. I'll just show you this hierarchical, and yes, we can see it in detail, the types. The first one is single inheritance. I have already shown you, but still I can show you that there is student. I'm taking it in concept of this implementation. That is student is a super class. This is a super class or the base class or the parent class. And this one is what? This one is the child class or the subclass or the derived class. Student having scholarship. It is having the same properties, but it will have more of its own. That is scholarship. How much of scholarship is there? What amount is involved, right? But in student, amount will not be involved regarding the scholarship. So, but roll number will be there, course will be there, semester will be there. So these particular will be common in both, and the new one will be the amount of the scholarship. So this is how we can define as the base and the derived class. This is the inheritance. This is multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance as the one which I already showed you regarding the bird and parrot and sparrow. This is the another one, that is, this is defined as tire, right? This is a tire, and we have this with the wheel and rubber. That means wheel and rubber both have what? The tire. So again, the common features. Now we talk about multi-level. Multi-level is we have animal derived from we have derived from mammal, then human, and this is a what? This is a multi-level, and it can go on and go forth. Hybrid is the combination of the multi-level and the multiple, or the hierarchical and the multiple. So it is showing that student, for the student, it can be a student from another course, it can be a student from another course, it is the student of the university, and it can be a student of this college. So this is the hybrid formation. Now moving towards last one, this is the hierarchical. Let's say we have vehicle, we have these three: land, water, and air. For the land, we have car and bus. Water, we have ship and boat. Air, we have aeroplane and helicopter. So this is what? This is forming the hierarchy. This is forming the hierarchy, and this is termed as the hierarchical inheritance. Okay.